Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Do me a favor and hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Make sure you're clicking on that bell notification button so YouTube tells you when we go live. Aside from that, in the description below is the link to our Discord server. Get yourselves on there. The best football chat room, the best football hub and community in the world. So go get that sorted out right about now. Get it done, whether you're watching live or the playback. Then, of course, hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Big up our sponsors, Manscaped. You can get 20% discount off all Manscaped products by using promo code TFT. Where to start this afternoon? We're going to open the lines for you all call in a little while. But where do we start? Where do we start? So much news circulating across social media this afternoon. The big story during the rounds is Erling Haaland to Chelsea. Chelsea Football Club looking to sign Haaland. That's one big piece of news. And according to The Athletic and multiple other reports, they are willing to break the club transfer record for him. They broke it this summer, signing Kai Havertz. They are willing to break it. They are willing to smash it again. And I think this demonstrates massively. How do I put this in the right way? Maybe the underperformance of this Chelsea team so far this year. I think the Chelsea team so far this year have really underwhelmed. Timo Werner not settling so straight. And this is typical Chelsea. And not horror. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way in terms of saying typical Chelsea. This is what Roman Abramovich does. If it doesn't work, he very rarely gives it another 6 months, another 12 months. He takes out his checkbook. He spends the money. And he looks to put Chelsea back at the top of the league. And listen, it will mean curtains for Olivier Giroud, no doubt. It will probably mean curtains for Tammy Abraham, who's already, I think he's already about 30 to 35% down on minutes played compared to last year. It will be even further down the pecking order, which goes to support very much what we said here at the Football Terrace in the summer. If some of these youngsters don't kick on, if some of these new signings don't hit the ground running, Chelsea don't wait around for them. Never have, never will in the Roman Abramovich era. If you're tearing up trees, if you're killing it, the manager's picking you and you're performing, you're staying at the football club. Outside of that, they will always look to replace you. Chelsea fans, I want your thoughts. I want your feelings. Will Chelsea, they may not sign him, by the way, because they've got to agree the deal. But they are, the point you're missing here is they are willing to smash their record to buy him. Will they get it done? Where will he fit in? Who misses out, Chelsea fans? Which striker do you want to see moved on? We know Timo Werner can't play out wide. He ain't a wide man. He is a centre forward that drifts. Maybe there's the notion to try and play both of them together. Let me know. iTest here with a comment who says they should get Isaac. Much better than Haaland. Isaac, yeah? Are you still pushing that? iTest is still pushing it out here in this community, bruv. Still doing it. Make sure you're smashing that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this past 1,000 likes, please. Man like Shane here says, if he goes anywhere, it will be to Man City. Listen, bruv, I'm not going down that line anymore. I've learned my lesson. We all said all summer that Haaland, that Werner was going Liverpool, dots on the cards, and it didn't happen. That's story number one today. The second story, Ozil finally leaves Arsenal. I see Lee Gunner stream earlier. He was very happy. But how do you feel about it as a Gooner? That's £350,000 a week freed up. Do you want to see that invested this month? How much? That's millions of pounds back into the coffers of the football club. Who do you want to come in and replace him? Let us know. And also, myself and Gary Neville have exchanged messages today via Twitter. The Paul Pogba agenda is probably never going to go away. It's probably here to stay for the rest of Paul Pogba's career. But what I saw today triggered me. I listened to the Gary Neville podcast, that 19, 20-minute podcast on Sky, and he spoke about Man United's slim chances of maybe winning a league title. And in that, he said, and I quote, what he said is this, right? And this is why we need to be very, very, this is the perpetual cycle around the Paul Pogba haters and madness, okay? He said, I need to find it here first. Okay. He says, I think Manchester United's chances of winning the league are slim. Liverpool and City are still the best two teams in this league. But there is a slim chance that they can win this league. It will depend on something like Pogba delivering a cameo for 2 or 3 months of brilliance. So just being absolutely brilliant for 2 or 3 months, which he is capable of. So he's singling out Pogba. Not that it's Pogba's fault if we don't win the league, but if Pogba can hit his absolute best for 2 or 3 months running, that brilliance could make Man United champions. It's a big positive for Pogba. He says he's got confidence, he's got arrogance, good arrogance, in a sense that he believes in himself. Cantona-esque, Zidane-esque, Henry-esque, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a confident, good arrogance, a self-assured is what he said. And you hear it in Gary Neville's voice. The headline of the Daily Mail, and they maybe have changed this by now. I've called them out. Gary Neville's retweeted and quote tweeted what I've said. It says Manchester United can't win the Premier League title unless arrogant Paul Pogba delivers for 3 months of brilliance, said Gary Neville. That is disgraceful, because the way they quote mark the word arrogant makes it sound like Paul Pogba is too lazy, too arrogant, is too self-indulged to perform for the 3 months needed to make Man United champions. It's the complete opposite. They are implying and therefore making people infer that Paul Pogba's arrogance is what's going to stop Man United from winning the league. Gary Neville said the complete opposite. That his self-confidence and arrogance in his own ability could be what leads Man United to the Premier League title. And where I say it becomes a perpetual cycle is this. You read the headline, you scale away, you go, Gary Neville hates Paul Pogba. Then when you hear Gary Neville give some constructive criticism to Paul Pogba, you think Gary Neville's got an agenda because you remember that headline from the Daily Mail. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And around we go on the hamster wheel. It's a disgrace what the Daily Mail have done today to Paul Pogba with that headline. The Pogba agenda stinks. And it's a disgrace what they did to Gary Neville. Both receive hate off of a lie. It's an absolute abomination. An abomination. And listen, Gary Neville, I was trying to defend him. I'm trying to defend Paul Pogba at the same time because it legitimately got under my skin in a big, big way. Got some super chats here. Paul Ross said, it's just news, though, about Haaland, because I'm not believing anything until I see him with the shirt on. Listen, Paul, I love transfer rumors. They're one of my favorite parts of football this day and age. So we will be talking about these rumors, bro. Next one here says, this is from the Devil's Advocate, who says, Abramovich buying Haaland is the equivalent of a kid with all the toys, then wants to play with the toys that another kid is playing with. Do you know what? I understand that analogy. However, what I will say is this. It's just Rome. It's not so much he wants the other toys. It's these toys are not satisfying me. I'm going to put them in the bin and I'm going to buy what that kid's got because that looks more fun. And he'll just keep doing that until he's happy. It's a toy. I mean, Chelsea is quite literally a toy to Roman Abramovich. There's no doubt about it. We have a man like Daniel Chambers there. What you saying, bro? Over there on Facebook watching us. How you doing? There's another super chat came through. Can't find it now. Here it is. It says Werner would play off Haaland. Wingers miss out. Well, I want to take your calls. We're going to open up the lines for you to call into the show. We're going to release the link to call in on the Discord server. So you're going to have to join our Discord server if you haven't done so already. In the general chat right now, I'm about to post that link. So get yourself across to that Discord server. Get yourself signed up. The link for that is in our description below. And I'm going to post the call-in link now. Call in now. And I'm going to at everybody in the Discord server so you guys can phone up. I want to talk about these 3 stories. Ozil to Fenerbahce. The Paul Pogba agenda lives on. And aside from that, Haaland to Chelsea is the big story this afternoon. Can they get it done? Who misses out? And what does this say about the summer signings? Is Chelsea are willing to break another record already? That link has been shared. We have another super chat now. This is from man like Paul Ross. who says, if he comes to Chelsea, big if. I'm not believing the hype of how good Haaland is, because the German league is nothing compared to the Premier League. I want to see how he performs in the Premier League. Sorry, just some weird comments there on Discord. Listen, from my point of view, I understand that logic. You shouldn't directly judge a player before he's kicked a ball in the Premier League. Honestly, Paul, I think Haaland's going to be a superstar. I think he's already a superstar. The levels, the trees that this man's been ripping up. He's just someone. I back him like I back Bruno Fernandes when I saw him play for the first time. There's just something very special, very, very special about him indeed. The Boys Clan here says, can we start talking about Bruno Fernandes? He is personally a little overrated because he is not a big game player, unlike KDB and Harry Kane. What's interesting, you can if you want. It wasn't on the agenda today. Because he's had a couple of bad games in big matches, we can't be coming to that conclusion. There's two things I want to throw out here. If I can't call him the best attacking midfielder in the league until he's done it for 2 years, you can't say he's not a big performer in big games until he's been here for at least 2 years. Which of the two is it? I'm happy to concede he's not a big game player if you concede that he can be called the best this or the best that inside his first 12 months in the Premier League. Both have to coexist at the same time. Otherwise, it becomes very hypocritical, disingenuous, and oxymoronic. I want your views and opinions on that, but make sure you're smashing that like button. But more importantly, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and share the ting, bruv. Share the link for this show now in your WhatsApp groups, in your group chats, on your Facebook page, on your Twitter page. But like, put a little tagline, come watch this show now. Great football debate, great football lineup, phone-in show, whatever. Like, big it up a bit. You're obviously here because you like it. Some of you don't. I know some of you hate me. I blocked 4 people today because they're just hating. They all support one particular football club as well. It's been an interesting one. I'm going to get a co-panelist on the show as well, and then we're going to start taking your calls. My guy's here. I can see. I didn't know he was in the back room. And there he is. He's turned up. He's here. And hopefully, by the way, the sound's going to be better than here soon. I'm putting up more foam in the room today, so should have even less echo in here soon. Going to get man like KJ on with me. KJ, welcome back, brother. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I am good. I'll turn my camera on in 2 seconds, just changing positions and that. But yeah, man, I'm good. First of all, we know what these pagans are like who work for the Daily Mail and them man there. You know what I'm saying? I've said my piece on this many, many times, so I'm just going to end with burn the pagans. I hope their publications go out of business. I'm sick of them. But yeah, in terms of Haaland and Chelsea, that is such that would be such a mad transfer for the fact that they've spent what 50 M's on Timo Werner, a player that was supposed to come in and revolutionize the attacking force. If they buy Haaland now, it's not just Giroud and Tammy that get misses out. You also got to think about what happens to Hudson-Odoi, what happens to Pulisic, what happens to Ziyech, what happens to Havertz, because Haaland does not come into that team to play second fiddle and rotate between man. He becomes to be the main striker. Werner is in there not to play second fiddle. He's there to play the main striker. So unless you're playing 2 up top, what are you going to do with that? If you say they do play 2 up top, are you going to play 4-4-2?
See, bro,
that means Havertz would miss out. What, are you going to play 3-5-2 with 3 at the back with defensive wingers? That means Pulisic would have missed out. So it's a mass buying Haaland without selling Werner would be a massive, massive mistake.
Well, I don't know about massive mistake, but I think it poses a huge question, as you say, in terms of who misses out. During the summer, we had it on the show when we were talking about Werner to Liverpool or Werner to Chelsea. All we kept on getting fed back was bullshit from people. No one's going to miss out. No one's going to get less minutes. Everybody will get opportunities to play. Everybody's going to deliver. No, none of them things were ever going to be true. We've seen Werner played out of position, which is damaged his performances. We've seen Havertz played out of position, which has damaged his performances. We haven't seen Callum Hudson-Odoi given ample opportunity this year to impress, and it's infuriated the Chelsea fans. Haaland is a star player. Where we need answers is who misses out. For me, I actually think it's Timo Werner's head that's on the chopping block already. And I think the way Roman will look at it is this. He only cost me 42 million. Even if he flops, we'll get that back for him because we got him at 50% his valuation because of a buyout clause. I think it could be Timo Werner that moves out the door along with Olivier Giroud. I think Tammy will stay around because he's an academy player and he's probably happy to be on the bench like a lot of these men are. But it's a massive statement if they go after him. Do you think Chelsea will have the capability to pull him off, or do you think he's destined for Man City?
I see him going Man City more than I see him going Chelsea. I also see him going Bayern Munich or Real Madrid more than I see him going Chelsea. They're teams with actual striker. Well, I don't say Man City have a strikers issue in terms of Jesus hasn't been up to the level that they thought he'd grow into, and Aguero's his time is coming to an end. Real Madrid, Benzema is their striker, but again, his time's coming to an end. He's like 33. And then you can look at Bayern Munich, Lewandowski playing amazing football, some of the best football he's played. And that's very high if you consider the level he is. But he is also going to be coming to an end in the next two years. So those three clubs will look at Haaland as the successor that they need and they want to fit their clubs. Chelsea already have Werner. They really should be looking to invest in him and spend that time molding him. He's just got there. It's only been 6 months. It's very mad. I personally believe Sancho is more likely to go. If you're going to take a player from Dortmund to Chelsea, Sancho is going to be the one that goes more than Haaland.
Yeah, I hear that. Do you know what I would say would be the worry in the minds of those players? And I said it in the summer about Chelsea. If they start to see these current young players ousted after not hitting the ground running, or they hit a little bit of a stumbling block in their development and they're dropped out of the team again, Sancho's and the Haalands will be reluctant to join because Chelsea have no pedigree under Roman Abramovich of developing young players. And a lot of Chelsea fans told us, nope, you're going to see Tammy and Mason and Reece and Billy and Cho are all going to be developed and come through. Tomori, this time last year, Tomori was going to be the next England centre-back, and he's now been, put out on loan with an option to buy. Like most of these Chelsea youngsters, I think Reece James will make it at Chelsea. The rest, the jury's out for one reason or another. So I do think it's going to be hard for Chelsea to convince more youngsters to sign, especially if Havertz is seen as a flop and they're willing to just move Timo out straight away. I get footballers are arrogant in their own self and own ability and think, I won't be like him who failed, but it's going to be a difficult one. Quick question before we move on to the calls from people. The super chat here says, what's your prediction on Liverpool versus Spurs next week?
Ooh, I'm going to say draw again, like Man United. I feel it's going to be a tight game. Their front three they're lacking a little. They are they're not even living. They're lacking a lot right now. And Spurs, we already know how good defensively they are. We know how Jose wants to play in these big games. You think we were bad in terms of defensive displays? Oh boy, wait until Jose is ready to part the thing. Fam. You know what I'm saying? So,
and you know what, Jose won't change his approach to that game at all, because at Anfield, again, their result wasn't too dissimilar to Man United's. Sorry, let me take that back. Their performance wasn't too dissimilar to Manchester United. The result differed on two things. Bergwijn missed their gilt-edged chances, and Harry Kane, remember, from a header from point blank, just outside the box. But remember, it's only Bruno Fernandes that doesn't turn up in big games. Spurs should have been 2 or 3-1 up in that second half, and they didn't take the opportunity, and they lost out in the dying moments. Spurs won't change that approach. Why would you? Because the way you approached it yielded you them opportunities. Liverpool haven't been as potent since then. I think it's an interesting game. I'm actually going to go over Tottenham win in that match to really throw the cat amongst the pigeons there. We've got another super chat from Paul Ross. Says the biggest issue is a 4-4-3. Can that formation even exist?
Oh, no, you're trying to say 4-3-3.
4-3-3. I was just, my brain weren't working for a second there. I don't. it don't work at first. It was a diamond formation during the play. Now it has changed, and it will struggle against Leicester. Yeah, Chelsea-Leicester tomorrow night. Listen, Chelsea's issue right now for me is confidence. They look devoid of it. I think they went into that Everton game. The arrogance was coursing through their veins, coursing through the veins of the fans. They lost, and it's just been a sort of a negative.
Yeah, them man got the sucker punch, and they're still staggered. You see boxers, it's kind of like wobbling. They're still wobbling. That's what the issue is. True.
They still got the chicken leg going on, brother. 100%. We're going to take some calls. We're going to take some fast calls. When we get you on, thank you very much to Mandy, Mr. Ibrahim here for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace, becoming an academy member. Thank you, because we are in 10 minutes going member chat only. So you do have to be a member for that. Thank you. We're going to do some calls. They're quick fire calls. So you've got like a minute or so to make your point, or say what you've got to say. First up, we're going to go to Mohammed, who's a Liverpool fan. Mohammed, what are you saying, bro?
I just want to say our Liverpool will hopefully turn the corner in the next couple of games and just beat Tottenham in that game.
Listen. I want to ask you a question about Liverpool real quickly. I want your answers, your views on this. A lot of deflection tactics in the last 24 hours. Moaning about Man United's negativity, moaning about the referee blowing the whistle 6 seconds too early, laughing that Bruno didn't have a good game. Are you more concerned with the fact that you're 3 games without a goal and 4 matches without a win, when Manchester City especially look potent right now?
Yeah, it is really concerning at the moment, but I'm just hoping we can turn the corner, because we've got Jota coming back soon, but we do need a centre-back like before January, guys. It's looking very less likely that we will win the league, because Man City are just very dangerous at the moment.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that, bro. I do. I think you need to turn that corner, and soon, from a Liverpool fan's point of view. Thank you for calling in, my bro. I really appreciate it. If you want to phone in, the link has been shared on our general chat page on the Discord server. I'll post it again in the Discord server. If you're part of the Discord, you know what to do. If you haven't yet, go in the link in our description below and sign up to our Discord server. Now, the best football chat room in social media football. Next up on the show, we're going to have a bit of Charlie. Charlie, welcome. What do you want to say? No, Charlie's not going to talk. Didn't unmute, but it looks at that emoji. He looks like he might troll anyway. Next up, we're going to get Epic Nin. Epic Nin, welcome back. What do you want to say, bro?
Oh, you're muted. You're on mute.
You're on mute, Epic Nin.
Oh my god! I get twice. Right. I was going to talk about our striker situations and like our options.
Okay. Stop. Are you talking about Haaland, Ozil, Pogba agenda?
No, I'm a Man City fan, so I was going to talk our striker options, which is related to Haaland in a way. So, problem with me with Haaland is that I just think he's too young at the stage to be costing 120 million to come to a club, and I just think it might be better. I think we as a club we don't break a bank as other people thought we do. I just think that Haaland should go to another club at a Prem level to see if he fits the Prem, but I just don't think.
Wait. What?
You take this, KJ. Take it.
Haaland go to a Premier League club for a stepping stone. What?
It's not.
You don't know who this kid is.
I know, but the thing is, I just think just in 1 year. No, for my personal opinion, a year doesn't. Just 1 year of, and plus it's just a Bundesliga. Many players have gone through this and have a very, very good talents. Like, for example, Luka Jovic went to Real Madrid. Look how now he's done.
But what about KDB? KDB with the opposite end of that spectrum. Listen,
but the difference between...
but when it comes to Haaland, he's delivered both in the Bundesliga and Champions League. He's done two things. Listen to me, Epic Nin. I'm going to say this now. Thank you very much for your call. This is what I'm saying to you. Haaland is already in the top 5 strikers right now in world football. The reason he costs so much is because he's so young. Because when he comes in,
I'm not disputing his quality. I'm just disputing his price tag. That's all. No. For example, if you say,
Epic Nin, stop. when it comes to the finances on football, you're not denouncing his quality, which means he's one of the best strikers in the world. But because he's so young, that makes his price and valuation higher, because you as City buying him now, you could potentially get 12 years of that quality. When someone's 26, 27, you're only going to get 5 years. So they're worth less money when the quality is equal. It's why Mbappe's, it's why Haaland's, it's why Rashford's, it's why Gnabry's are so much, Sancho's are so much more expensive, because they've got a decade of football plus left in them still. Epic Nin.
But before you take him off, Epic Nin, why did you make Terry have long hair and glasses?
I know
that was you, blood. No, I know that was you. And then you did one for Prime as well. What is wrong with you, blood?
In fairness, though, Prime looked better looking. It actually made Prime look.
The beard was bad.
Thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say and supporting the channel, mate. I appreciate it. See, that's a good caller. Do you know why? Because we disagreed with him, but he didn't go, "Oh, you offended me by saying." He was chatting rubbish, but that ain't the point. Next up on the show, we're gonna have Aaron. Aaron's back with us. What you saying, Aaron? What's your point?
Terry, how are you?
Hello, Sam Smith. Make your point, bro.
Brilliant. Just as an outside perspective, as a Donny fan looking at the Haaland situation with the Chelsea rumours, in my opinion, I don't really see it at Chelsea. I just think that it's another excuse to spend money. I feel like it's the best way to describe this situation is it's like Chelsea are a 15-year-old brat and they've just got their own Porsche as a family car, and they're like, no, it doesn't work. I want a Tesla Cybertruck. I think it's just a way to chuck more money at Chelsea. And I think Giroud's paying the price. I think
that's what Chelsea do, and it's the way they're always going to behave. It's why I said in the summer, when these Chelsea fans are talking about, no, we've got a long-term plan, we're going to develop youth, we're going to buy young and turn to superstars. No, that's not
KG.
Aaron,
do you,
who's that?
KG. Do you think I look like Sam Smith? Let's settle this debate. Let's settle this debate between me and Terry.
Like Sam Smith when he first came out.
You know what it is? All right, listen, I'm staying out this one, and I'm just going to enjoy the band.
I'll just look forward to Rochdale tomorrow and then West Ham on Saturday, and we'll leave it at that.
Come on, up the Donnies, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Up the Donny. James Coppinger's 40 years old. Happy birthday, Coppinger.
There we go. Take care, mate. Thank you. I have no idea who man is. Do you know what I mean?
I love this guy, you know, because he don't support, like, he supports an actual small team, and he's just here to have a good time. Good vibes, man. He's good vibes.
Good vibe. Next up on the show, it's Mo. Mo, welcome. He's a gooner. What do you want to say?
Mo?
Nothing. He don't want to say a thing. Mo didn't say a word. You can call up. The link's been shared on the Discord platform. We've got some regulars in the background. We'll get on a little bit later. Just sit tight, Jem. Just sit tight, David. I know you want to speak. Next up, we've got John Terry fan. This could be a troll. John Terry fan. What do you want to say? I knew it was a fan. What we did, we just click that button there and then we block for life. Next up, Will Edwards.
All right, I just want to say, with Haaland, we've got to think, like, with Werner at RB Leipzig, he did play off a Poulsen-type character, didn't he?
Yeah.
But Haaland, I know Haaland's nothing like that player, but I think you've got a generational talent like Haaland. He's probably going to win, I don't know how many Ballon d'Ors. You see his quality now. He's done it against every team, Bundesliga, Champions League, everywhere. But I'm a Chelsea fan. Sorry, I'm a Chelsea fan.
That's first.
Okay,
I've got a question, bro. If you buy Haaland and you keep Werner, who then misses out? How, like, because someone will have to miss out. You can't play 12 men.
I think if we do get Haaland, I think Frank will go. I don't think Frank will be in the picture by then. I think we'll have a manager like Allegri or Nagelsmann, but I know one of them's going to miss out. I think if Werner doesn't up his act, like we know he's got the quality, he's just got a bad run of form, like all strikers do. They go through bad patches of form.
Let me ask you, Will. We'll stop this beating about the bush here, my friend. Thank you for calling the show. If you sign Haaland, if you were in charge, who would you get rid of? What two Chelsea players from your attacking options would you personally get rid of and say, nope, not good enough, bon voyage?
I think you'd send... Well, Giroud would retire because he's 34. and I think you'd probably send Abraham out on loan somewhere, see if he picks up quality. But you've got you don't want to leave Werner out because you paid 50 million for him, and I think it's a good investment. He is good. We've all seen him like in Champions League play well, but at the moment he just isn't getting the goals. But
yes, but where are you from, mate? By the way, your accent is driving me mad. Where are you from?
I'm from North Yorkshire.
Yes,
Whereabouts?
yes, I love it.
Whereabouts?
Somewhere called Pickering. It's up like Scarborough way near the beach.
Oh, okay. I have heard of it.
All my cousins, they're down in London, and they support Chelsea.
I like it. Listen, Will, thank you, Will Edwards, for coming on the show, having your say. Really appreciate it, mate. Top man. Interesting views. Haaland to Chelsea. The Athletic confirmed today. Let me reiterate, in case you're new to this stream, smash the like button first of all. Big up our channel sponsors, Manscaped, 20% discount of all their products. And please use them for your men's grooming products, because a lot of the work they do goes into researching and supporting people with testicular cancer. We have a 98% male audience here at the Football Terrace, and many of us are going to be impacted by this in our lifetime. So go check out their website, buy their products, use our 20% discount code, get that done. Sign up to the Discord server as well. But
you need to help me with these Manscaped promos, bro, because I was doing them yesterday, last night at Midnight Vibes, and it was a mess, fam.
You've never been a salesman, have you? You know what I mean?
Not for ball products, no. You know what I'm saying? Other things, yeah.
Selling razors that don't cut your balls when you're shaving them is no different to selling a car or a mobile phone. Every product you sell in the world is the same thing. It's a very simplistic one. Imagine the way you sell and you promote Midnight Vibes. Just do it about that product. For me, it's crazy. I was reading an article that men under the age of 35, 80% now self-groom in the nether regions. It's a madness. I was like, wow. I mean, I've always done it, but there we go. Dolphins, BKFC, bruv. It's true. It's all good for you. Next up, Stephen. Ozil's left the Arsenal. Give us your response.
Finally, some relief. Finally, I think the only thing I don't trust is how the board might spend the money that's freed up from it. About the Haaland thing as well. If he's going to go to any Premier League club that speaks sense, it would be Man City. I don't.
You're say Arsenal then. Oh, thank you.
No, I mean, obviously we'll take him, but I mean, like, get real. Get real. Yeah, I just feel that I'm just worried about how the board use the money that's freed up by Ozil's contract.
What are your feelings on Ozil? His entire career at Arsenal, how do you feel it went?
I think, all in all, taking banter aside and looking at it, it's, for me, it was firstly the new contract, the contract he ended up on was totally overvalued, and his first season was great. But then it was just patches and patches of form.
I promise, like, and even it's been a weird these past few months.
Say it with chest. Stop acting like Ram and Prime and all these guys.
Stop being Egal. What's his name now? What's his name now?
Hancock.
Yeah, Egal Hancock, bro. Don't be like Egal.
It was a letdown. It was a complete letdown.
Yeah,
right? For me, it was not a complete letdown. For me.
It was. And one other final thing. What do you make of this Paul Pogba agenda? Do you think it's time we stood up as a football community and outed this nonsense? Just to share it with everybody, I want to show the actual headline on the screen so people can see it. This is what they put out. So as you can see, Man United can't win the Premier League unless arrogant Paul Pogba delivers 3 months of brilliance, says Gary Neville. It's such a lie and it's such a fabrication. It is unbelievable. And it's also that word there, the word arrogance, for me, and people can correct me if they think I'm wrong, but it's a dog whistle to the right wing. It's a dog whistle to the racists, because arrogance is a word that's always associated to young black men in a negative trait. Arrogance, swagger, think too much of himself, Jack the lad, cocksure of himself, chip on all this sort of stuff you see all the time. Gary Neville didn't even say it in this context, and they've twisted the context. And what this does, it creates hate for Pogba. It then creates hate for Gary Neville from a community of people that like myself, that then want to fight against it. It's only the fact that I trust Gary Neville and that I listened to the podcast that I knew straight away it was nonsense. Half the people won't read. A gal proved it today in the group chat, doesn't read all the articles anyway. And then it creates this self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, what can be done to stop this, Stephen?
Well, do you know what this honestly says to me? Is that it says to me that I think the media, now they've seen how Man United have come down and how it's like that. Now they're starting to get back to where they were again. They don't want that because they love the fact that of the reactions of how poor Man United have been. So now, because they're losing that sort of agenda, I think now is that they are now looking at the fact that, oh yeah, we can't spin and make the masses of the fan base go absolutely mad that Man United are not doing this, Man United are not doing that, and that they're actually coming together now as a community because they're now back at the top where they're supposed to be, and they're just trying any little which way to fire sort of during this your period of trying to challenge for a title to try and derail it.
I wasn't following Gary Neville. I just realised that then. I don't follow enough. I would get called out about that by people in the football chat. It's like, Terry, you ain't followed me back. It's like, yeah, I very rarely remember to click the follow back button. But Gary Neville has called this out. There's a little bit of an exchange between myself and him. And you can see, like, what annoys me, though, is this stuff should be trending.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the likes and the retweets and that. Like, where are they? Like,
exactly. Where is it? Literally, where is the community of football fans out there shutting this down? It's an absolute madness. But what you'll find is there'll be people, oh, well, but it's derogatory about Man United, so I'm going to bury my head in the sand. That, for me, is a madness. It's bad for Paul. It's bad for Gary Neville. And it's bad for football when we should be standing up against it. Stephen, thank you very much for coming on, having your say, mate. Top man. Next up on the show, who we're going to go. There's one young man in the background. Bro, you are definitely under 16. I'm very sorry. We can't have you on the show, young man. I'm really, really sorry. He turned his camera off. Yeah, but I've seen your face.
We know who you are, kiddo. Like, even if you spoke, we would have told you.
Yeah, I can't have you on the show. I'm really sorry. I'd love to, but laws are laws. Hit that like and share button, people, right about now. Next up, we're going to have Mr. Ibrahim Meds. Ibrahim's with us. What you saying, young man?
Yeah, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Very good.
How you doing? KJ, you good, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Who do you support?
Chelsea.
What do you make of this Haaland news? Would it be a player you would welcome to Stamford Bridge, or do you not think you need him?
Well, where do I start, man? Chelsea is just going to be the end of me, man. No, I just think this is all blown out of proportion just based on Werner's form at the moment. I think even if there was some degree of truth to it, there's no point signing a striker like Haaland if your manager can't maximize the potential, because right now he hasn't shown any evidence that he's getting the most out of, forget the players he already has, but also any of the signings he's made. So, I mean, we've seen some glimpses from Ziyech, but if you look at it from like the whole picture of the season so far, every player is slowly going down in form. And I just feel like, that's just the manager rubbing off on them.
So you're Lampard out.
Yeah. I don't think.
Yeah. Okay.
The thing is, I don't think this is what I find with a lot of people who are just sat on the fence, right? I feel like they feel if they say Lampard out, just because he's Frank Lampard, and I got all respect, honestly. When he came in, I thought give this guy as much time as we can. I obviously want him to succeed, but I feel like it's got so toxic on social media where if you say you're Lampard out, all of a sudden you get brushed under the same, painted under the same brush as, plastic, all of this kind of stuff. But objectively, if you look at it, the results, the performance, tactically, you can't see anything improving since he's been there. He's been in charge for 19 months, right? Brendan Rodgers has been in charge 5 months more than him, and it's night and day. The difference is night and day. Tactically, I'm not talking I'm not talking about the squad because I know we've got a young squad. I know that we've incorporated in. They've signed in 7, fair enough, but it has been done. Look at Aston Villa; they've signed in 5 players, and so they have basically changed half of their squad. And then also back in the days, we can't forget what Mourinho and Ancelotti done. Now the thing is, with Frank Lampard, I get the fact that okay, he's an inexperienced manager. Fair enough. I would be happy to give him time, but not with this profile of squad. It's too young, and I feel like it will only be at the detriment of like the development of our youth players. Because I think
my question is though, bringing it back to Werner, would you trade Werner for Haaland?
That's the thing. I don't think it will make any difference at all. It won't make any difference at all. This is about the manager getting the most out of the players that he has, and he's already demonstrated that he hasn't done it. It can't be a coincidence that the forms of Werner and Havertz, together are just tailing off. Kante has not looked like the same player. Pulisic is going down. Pulisic is going down since the form he showed at the beginning of last season. Then we've Ben Chilwell. He started off great, bought some of the form from Rodgers' season. He does not look like the same player since what was the game? Everton, right? And I don't see him improving at all. And then we can say the same about a lot of players. The one thing I say about like Lampard, I'm happy to like lose game after game after game. Seriously, I am. As long as you can see improvements on the field. On the field, if you can see it tactically, I will be, you can see the big picture. You'll be allowing, you say, all right, okay, short-term pain for long-term gain. Do you know what I mean?
I hear your logic in that, mate. Listen, bro, thank you for calling the show and having your say. Really appreciate it there, mate. Thank you.
I could just see Jem in the back.
Sorry, but I already kicked the exit button. Listen, I understand his logic. One thing I would say is this: Chelsea won't stop signing players, even if they're thinking of bringing in a new manager. They'll just bring the players in anyway. That's how Chelsea operate. It's what Chelsea do. Make sure you're all smashing the like button. Super chat here from Mohammed says Haaland not going to Chelsea. He's going to Liverpool or City. They need a striker more. Do you know what? The problem you've got with that is I would never write Chelsea off from signing a player. We're going to member chat only now, ladies and gentlemen. Pay homage to our members and our super chatters. Thank you. Shane here just re-signed up as a legend. A legendary member of the football.
Shane. Man like Shane. We love to see
Big
that.
up yourself, Shane. Thank you for becoming a legend member. We're going to get some... we're going to actually do one more call, then we're getting Jem and we're getting David on. We're going to do Red Devil TV here. Red Devil TV, welcome to the Football Terrace. What do you want to say?
Hi. So...
You're a kid.
I'm so young. I'm so sorry.
You're too young. You're too young. Listen, we're going to go to David and Jem. David, welcome. Jem's here. How you doing, boy? What?
Hi, how you doing? Terry. Terry, you're my favourite fan. Love you.
I'm so yo, whoever that was, I'm so sorry, kiddo. Like,
that is amazing. Come back when you're 16.
I hear that. I want to go straight into this. Erling Brut Haaland to Chelsea, world record, Chelsea record fee being discussed by the Athletic as being put forward. If this is true, does it tell you that Super Frank Lampard's running out of time and he's not gelling this squad together quickly enough?
Yes.
How about yourself, Dave? How about yourself, Jem? What does this rumor say to you?
It's got nothing to do with Frank Lampard. Us signing Haaland. I don't think personally. Anyway.
It doesn't have anything to do with the manager of your club.
Look, my question is this: if we were you in your position right now, would we be talking about Haaland coming to Chelsea?
What top of the league?
If we were top of the league, would we be talking about Haaland right now?
If you were top of the league and your new number 10 and one of your top strikers on form, we wouldn't be talking anything negative, no.
No, but I'm saying, would we be talking about Haaland? Would they have come out with this?
Maybe.
If we had a top of the league with Martial having 2 league goals. So if Werner was having Martial seasons still, even though you're
exactly my point, reactionary. It's reactionary, isn't it? It's reacting upon our performance.
No, I don't. No, I think it's Chelsea. Jeb, it wouldn't shock you for like we had Drogba and then we went and got like what's it? I'm not sure if I've got the timeline right, but it was Drogba and we had Shevchenko and we had Crespo. Like I wouldn't put it past us to have loads of like top level strikers.
What's the point? It goes to fucking rubbish. Doesn't matter what number 9 we bring in.
What's the point? But listen, Jem, you know, listen, Baz1, thank you for also becoming 2 brand new legendary members of Terrace in one show. What great people. You can sign up to be a member. The link is in the description below. Plus my social media accounts, my Twitter, my Instagram. Make sure you guys go and follow and subscribe to all of that, please. In terms of Haaland, though, David, can you see this deal happening?
I wouldn't put it past us happening, but I don't think we'll do it. I think
but Mason Mount feeding him, bruv.
Don't get me. Obviously, we know who I would drop from the team. I'd change the whole formation. I go like 4-2-2.
I'd change you as a fan to an Arsenal fan.
No. I'd go 4-4-2, and I'd literally have Kante and another defensive midfielder. Because if you're going to play with 2 strikers and attacking midfielders,
and that's my question though. David, Jem, you buy Haaland and you play 2 up top. You can either play 4-4-2 and sacrifice Havertz because he ain't a box-to-box midfielder. He ain't gonna do that. You can't play that role in a 4-4-2. Or you play 3-5-2, but you sacrifice your wingers. What are you?
No,
so which one?
No. You don't have to sacrifice your wingers. Actually,
how?
Well, then you're gonna have to sacrifice. Then you have to sacrifice a fullback. Then
you sacrifice Chilwell and James. Then, if that's the case.
Wait. So you're saying?
I'll explain to you specifically how I would lay this formation out. I would have Mendy in goal. Then I would have James playing. I'd have James playing in one of the 3, yeah. And then I'd have
centre back
on the right of the centre back. Stay with me. Right? Then I would play.
Stop.
You sound like Ryan when he said I'll put Henderson at cam. This is what it sounds like.
Let me finish. I want to hear this. I'm intrigued.
If I actually could have a formation thing, I'd show you how it would work in my eyes.
Sorry, it's not Monday Night Football. Just speak.
Reece James, Silva, Zuma, and then in front I'd have Kante. We probably do need a decent DM, someone that can actually hold in front of that, like maybe a I don't want to say him, but Declan Rice or Zakaria or whatever. Right. Then it allows Kante to drift around in front, and then you have Havertz, Ziyech, and fuck knows whether Pulisic or Cho, and then you have Werner and Haaland up front.
Wait, but Jem, you drop Mount.
No, forget about that.
It's fine. Doesn't matter. Mount, Havertz, doesn't matter, does it?
Forget about that. Jem. Do you not see the defensive fragility in that entire?
No, because you have two players that are going to cover the areas to the sides.
Yeah, but then when if they're doing that, and the counter is on, you've just got a massive hole in your midfield.
Do you actually think
this is where Havertz drops in, or whoever's there, or Mount drops in?
One glaring issue here. Do you think that Frank Lampard has the tactical palette, bruv, sophistication in his tactical palette to do this, bruv? It's like saying, listen, we know he can make beans on toast. We know he can make an egg and cress sandwich.
He can make bangers and mash.
He can make bangers and mash, like bangers and mash. But can he make a duck à l'orange? Can he make jerk rice?
Put it this way, did we know Fergie can make jerk rice when he lost it when he did his first season?
My word.
Hang on a minute. I've got to do here. Massive super chat. Thank you to Red United. Says, what? We are top of the league, and it seems your hairline is coming back, Terry. All of a sudden, you're getting younger. Lol. Chelsea just love new toys. Listen, bro, the hairline's about where it was. It's gone back a bit, but my hair I just shaved it off. I shaved it off.
Landscape on your hair, ain't you? That's what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm shaving off one end, I'm sticking it on the other end, bro. Listen, thank you for the super chat. Get your super chat questions in. Red United, I'd also love to ask you a question, bro. How do you think we did yesterday? Were you angry with Man United's performance? Content with the performance and result? How are you thinking and feeling about it, bro? Shame we didn't have you on yesterday, but I'd love to have heard your positivity. We're going to add a caller in now to speak. We've got 4 people on the panel. We're going to add some callers in. Thank you very much for all your super chats. All the members that are in the house as well. Thank you, Baz1. Oh, hang on. Wyra here. Thank you for upgrading your membership. You only joined up the other day, which was great. You've upgraded to squad member from academy member. Massive thank you to each and every single one of you that do that. We're going to go next on the line to Liverpool fan here he's changed his position 3 times. I've been watching him. He was sitting down on a chair. Then it looked like he was in bed. Now he's out of his bed and he's back at his computer again. It is Turab LFC. Now he's drinking water. Welcome.
I've got symptoms, mate. That's why.
I'm sorry to hear that, mate. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, what's up? How are you guys, right?
You're not bad. What do you want to say, bro?
This isn't FIFA. This isn't FIFA Ultimate Team, where you think you can just put someone in and change the whole system. I just think he's going City in personally. Chelsea could snip him, of course.
Turab, Jem was on the player instructions, like, oh yeah, stay inside, you know, all this, man.
Listen, right, I'm talking about my formation ideas, all right? Leave me out.
Chelsea can get him 100%. Who thought they were going to get Havertz? Who thought they were going to get Werner? So it wouldn't surprise me. And the whole London factor, you know. But if I'm Haaland, I'd rather play for Pep than, you know, Lampard. I'm not here to diss Lampard, but Pep is Pep.
Yeah, I still think Haaland could go to Manchester United. I do, especially if we finish the season well. No, I'm not. It's not let it go. Listen, we've seen Cavani for me could oust Martial by the end of the season. I don't think Martial's got a long-term career at Man United playing as the number 9. I don't think he's got that. Cavani's been excellent, but if you can bring in a Haaland, he would, and he does have a connection with Oli. I think, you know, we were close to getting in before. I do think City are the favourites, but I wouldn't rule Manchester United out. The biggest concern I would have about Haaland at United is the Mino Raiola situation. I've got a few super chats to do here. The first one from the Devil's Advocate says, Jem, you dare mention Alex Ferguson in the same sentence as the Bangers and Mash Boas. Rodrigo here says, we don't need new players yet. We need to get rid of Lampard first. He's tactically inept. Wow. We don't need Haaland yet. What do you say to that, Jim?
Wow.
We don't need new players yet. We need to get rid of. I didn't hear it, so because all I can hear is the dogs in the background. Don't need. We need to get rid of Lampard first. He is so far. He's shown himself as being tactically inept. I agree. He's right, you know. But at the end of the day, things can change. Things can change. We still don't know.
Hang on. So you're saying he's tactically inept. So what you're saying is you're Lampard out.
He didn't deny it. He
didn't deny it. Another super chat from Red. Red United, big up yourself, says, I was not that upset, but I can understand the guys that were upset. We would have won the game if we would have won that game if we go to Liverpool from the jump, but Ollie still has a little bit of fear of Liverpool. I'm sure at the end he would have liked us to have gone for it. Yeah, and look, me and KJ jumped on Aaron's stream earlier on his channel and had a bit of a to and fro, and I totally get people's frustration with not winning it and not taking our chances. The problem that you have, if we would have gone for it a bit, this is the problem with working backwards with hindsight. If we go back to the start, my view is this: we rolled a 4 yesterday. We rolled the dice. We got a 4. We got a positive result. We didn't concede. Some good performances, some poor performances. We got a 4. Now, you could, if God come up to me now and said, yo, we can replay the game again, you can roll the dice again, I might land a 6, which is a win and brilliant performances. But I could land a 1. So I wouldn't undo what happened yesterday. I'll take it. And so for me, it's about putting it all into context, calming down. Wednesday night, we will beat well Fulham. We're due a good performance. We'll get a good performance and move on from there. But listen, thank you for that super chat, Red United. Really appreciate that, my brother. Original base Annie becoming a member of the Football Terrace again. Actually upgraded his membership to 3 legends in one show. 3 legends in one show. Look at that. I'm definitely going to shave my balls tonight with the weed whacker. Definitely. That's not the weed whacker. That's for your nose. That will probably hurt, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean?
The lawnmower, bro.
The lawnmower. Man like Rome from the Fourth Official says Man United fans complaining that Bruno gives the ball away is like asking why what's that say? Unit was not at the OG. He is meant to try things to get the players in. Listen, I've seen Bruno Fernandes in this last 24 hours. Some of the things I've seen published about him are so laughable in the sense of like one article I read was talking about how bad he is doesn't control games. It's like, bro, he's never been a game controller. He's not about dictating play. He's not a Michael Carrick or a Thiago or a Zabi. He's a moments player in games. He's there to score. Like, you don't have many of these players that play in midfield, but he reminds me. I used to think that about Lampard at Chelsea. I never really looked at Lampard as being a dictator of play, but how many times did that guy pop up and score goals? Cristiano Ronaldo did it at Man United almost a whole. Of course, he had lots of games where he was the star guy. But the amount of times I watched Ronaldo play and he was 5, 6 out of 10 in terms of execution, but then bang, score from distance, score a free kick, put a penalty away. He'd come in at the far post and tap in the winner. It was just incessant. And, you know, he's gone through a couple of games, Bruno, without scoring, and everybody wants to undo what he's achieved. Someone put out a stat earlier as well.
Complaining about fantasy points.
That's someone the other day said, what he done? Like, someone put a tweet up actually earlier today. And it was his stats and KDB's stats versus the top 6 since Bruno's arrival in the Premier League. I think Bruno has something like 5 goals, 4 assists. KDB has something like 3 goals, 7 assists or whatever. Bruno is slightly ahead in terms of combined. And it's almost like a case of there isn't that much difference. And that does discount, by the way, what Bruno did against Leicester, because Leicester, in a lot of people's eyes, don't get considered to be part of the
top 6.
Top 6, but they're better but they're a better team than Arsenal. You know what? Think about this. What did he do this season against Southampton? Better team than Arsenal. What did he do this season against Wolves? Better team than Arsenal. What did he do this season against Leicester? Better team than Arsenal. Better team than Chelsea. You know, so it's all a nonsense. So for me, I just stay relaxed about it. I know how good he is. And I also
Terry, there was that one pass though that it's been good doing the rounds. Now.
One in the air.
that was that's the truth. It's like I watched it back. Like during the game, I was pissed. I was like, "What the hell is that?" You know what I'm saying? But watching back now, I'm just like, Bruno, what are you doing? But I just laugh. I just laugh. Man.
He's gonna have those moments, and I'm already completely and utterly at peace with it. But this is the way
that looked like Lukaku's first touch. That's what that looked like.
When he do you know what's interesting though? With that, he didn't mean it. But did you notice? I don't remember who challenged for the header. They missed the header though, and it almost created an opening because
Pogba was there.
Because it was so obscure. It was like, what do I actually do? Is that even against the rules to go that high? I don't know. Original base Annie here says, I also purchased my Manscaped. My bro recommended. Listen, man, trust me, the missus is gonna love it. Sam Allardyce in your photo will probably love it as well, bruv. 100%. Terry, I can see Ollie in United signing Sancho for 80 million and Haaland for 75 million, total of 155.
That's Simon.
Who makes you think that's going to happen?
Who would you rather buy, Sancho or Haaland?
Sancho. Haaland. We as United fans, we need Sancho.
Actually,
don't do this, Terry.
What am I going to do?
I know you're saying absolutely opposite.
So it's a nice day. Oh, shut up. No, well, it depends on what Ahmad does.
I knew it.
Oh my word!
No, what, bro?
Ahmad Sancho.
Of course, you're not listening to me, are you? You're not listening to me. If Ahmad comes in and he has 4 or 5 games between now and the end of the season, and it's clear and obvious that he's 18 months away, then of course. But if he comes in and is finger licking good, the best a man can get, then you have to reevaluate. And say, okay, Man United were just over a year ago. Man United were looking at dropping big money on a new left back. Brandon Williams came in and stopped that happening in the January because he filled the hole for the time being. And then we managed to broker a deal to bring in a really good left back in Tellers as backup. That then elevated Luke Shaw. And we've seen a very good Luke Shaw for nearly a year now because of those two reasons. So the emergence of a youngster and the purchase of a cheap backup improve what we already had. You can do something similar in that role. If Diallo comes in and is killing it, Pellistri also looking good behind the scenes, you may not need to drop that much money. And by the way, if they don't, neither of them look good, but between now and the end of the season, why would you? I'm going to give you this example. If Brewster was killing it, Liverpool wouldn't have gone after Jota. If Brewster was the real deal, they wouldn't need to. The reason you had to go and get Jota is because Brewster's wasn't good enough. It's as simple as that. The reason you signed Werner and now Chelsea are looking at Haaland is because Tammy isn't good enough.
You know what's funny about that argument you're making there, Terry? We have the same issue with Haaland and Greenwood. I believe Greenwood could easily become a Haaland level player if he gets game time and develops physically. So we won't need to spend money on Haaland because we've already got one. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've already got a player that's
a bit mad.
You remember what I said last year about Greenwood?
Oh, David.
What did you say about him?
I said no. I just said I wasn't sure he's as good as a finisher as you thought he is. Because
he is a good finisher. He is a good finisher.
No, I'm not saying he's a bad finish. That's not what I said. I said last year, every single shot this kid took just went in. I don't know how he was doing it, but every time it went in. And it was either he's just that good a level of finisher or he's just really hot. And I thought he was really hot because he's young and looks like I'm right. I still think he can be a very good player, but I thought he was running very hard.
David, look at the circumstances this kid has gone through this season. It's not like he's been perfectly fine and he's just dipped. There are actual tangible reasons why he hasn't been at the level that he's been, and also he hasn't played as many games, like at this point anyway. So he's still. I believe he's still as potent as he could be, as he was last season. Like
that goal is on the bench. That's all.
Yeah, well, I think there's a bit of that, and listen, it's quite natural for young players to have these up and down sort of moments. And I think what happened with England, and then there was all the stuff with the balloon. Then, of course, what happened with his friend? All this stuff happened in a short space of time, and it was difficult for him. And he'll get opportunities at Manchester United. I think he'll come good. I've got no concerns. The goal he scored against West Ham. One of the best goals anyone in a Man United shirt scoring this season. The touch, the turn, the first time hit, and I've got a feeling. And this is where Man United have got an outside chance here when it comes to the title. It's about fitness. But Greenwood, I think he'll click into gear second half the campaign. Donny van der Beek is going to be as fresh as a daisy because he's barely kicked the ball. Cavani's barely got going yet because of he couldn't start when he first came. He came in late, missed the first 4 or 5 games. Then he had to isolate. Then he had the suspension. So he's not really picked up a head of steam. Those 3 players are going to operate. I do believe that Diallo is going to play an important role. And I'm not talking about starting 10, 15 games. When I say important, I think he's going to come in as part of rotation and deliver well in FA Cups and in Europa League, which means you can keep some of your players fresh for the Premier League. We've got those 4 players there who are going to be key in the FA Cup. They're going to be key in the Europa League and ready to step in should we need them in the Premier League. That 4 there is what we didn't sort of have last year in terms of strength in depth. And it could make a statement where it could go wrong with 2 or 3 injuries. But yes,
I've got a question for you. Who would you back? Because we talk about Haaland and Sancho and which young player you believe could make sure that we don't have to buy both of them. Who are you banking your money on more to get to that level first? Greenwood or Amad Diallo? Sorry, Amad Diallo. Because that determines who you buy.
Greenwood.
Wow, such a hard question.
Greenwood.
I don't know why I'm going to say this. I think it's easier, and I don't even know how to quantify this in words. I'm not a good enough or orator at all to be able to say it and articulate it. I think it's easier to get to a higher level from a wide position than it is to be a leading light as a centre forward, because leading light centre forwards of the Haaland level are as rare as rocking horse shit. You can be a good quality right back and be a right-sided attacker and be effective. So I think it's slightly easier coming from a wide position, which is why you see a lot of future strikers played out wide to begin with as they're cutting their teeth, because it's an easier role than it is to be a centre forward. Only marginally, but it's easier. I would say potentially Diallo, but the problem you have is it can happen at any moment. I think they're both going to develop at the same time. I still think they're both 2.5, 3 years away from hitting that peak age. But at the same time, you never quite know. They need the one thing Greenwood hasn't been given yet, and maybe it's a good thing. We'll see in the future. I wouldn't mind seeing him given 2 or 3 games as a centre forward, where he knows starting regardless of performance. We're going to start you the next 3 games, no matter what's going on. And maybe this season it's too hard to do it because there's a game every bloody 3 or 4 days and rotation.
It's a good problem to have for you lot now, especially building for the future. You've got the youngster from Atalanta now coming. I don't know when he's going to play. He's probably going to play in the FA Cup. And then you've got Mason Greenwood, who's barely kicked the ball. You've got, the other fella in your academy. I can't remember his name. Yeah. So
Laird's gone alone. It's just beautiful to think about. We've got Hannibal as well coming through. It's just beautiful. Beautiful.
And no Sancho.
And listen. I'm stop mentioning that name because I've had to let it go, man. Him and Haaland, let it go. But the only player we get,
he ain't coming Chelsea. I'm telling you now. Mark my words.
The only player we're getting from Dortmund, is probably Bellingham. That's it.
Again, and it just depends what those 2 youngsters look like. And for me, I need to see Diallo play before I answer that question properly. But becoming a kind of top level centre forward, I just think it takes longer to develop. It's a bit like being a top level right back, like centre back. I think it just takes a little bit longer to master that position. There's to become potent enough to be a regular at it, if that makes sense. But one thing that Greenwood got on his side of everybody else at our club, I think he's the most natural finisher. Even with Cavani there, he's the most natural finisher. If he'd have got the opportunity that Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes got, I think he's very...
We would have lost.
That's why I don't get why you don't mix Cavani and Greenwood, like mix them in terms of whoever plays up front starting. Like I think when Cavani's not playing, Greenwood should be playing up front, not Martial and not Rashford.
Look, I think
he's a better out and out goal scorer than them 2.
It depends because all 3 of those players, when they play striker, offer 3 completely different things. When people say I never want to see Martial play up front ever again, I think they're just being too emotional because we've seen Martial play up front for a whole season and we can see what he could do and what he brings to the team. In terms of those 3, out of all those 3, in terms of build-up play and linking the play, I think Martial just about pips Cavani. Not saying Cavani can't do it, but Martial is quicker in the turn. He's good at slipping players in. So you've got 3 completely different players who bring 3 completely different attributes to the striking role. Cavani's movement is well above Martial.
Everyone, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? Greenwood's finishing is above the other 2. So I don't think it's a thing of never see Martial at striker again and only see him on the left wing. It's what games do we need Martial at striker playing there? What games do we need him on the left wing? Same with Greenwood.
I just think if Greenwood was in Pogba's position yesterday in that game, he would have scored that. I just think there's certain times where playing and you've had opportunities in front of goal where if Greenwood was playing, it would have been a goal.
But in fairness, I get that, but I also think Cavani or Rashford also finish those chances. Rashford would have finished both those chances because Rashford's very good instinctively. When Rashford just has a split second to think, it's when he's at his best. When he has to overcomplicate it and think, he can sometimes make mistakes. But yeah, it's like anything. It's Pogba's a good player. He's not a prolific finisher. Bruno's interesting. Bruno almost hit it too well. If he'd have scuffed it a bit, or he's ill, it would have gone through the legs of the bloody goalie. Comment here. This is a good question from Brandon, who says, Terry, who do you think has had the bigger impact at United, Cavani or Ibra? Zlatan killed it. Again, the difficult thing is for Cavani, he's not picked up ahead of steam. So for me, I wouldn't mind seeing him get given a couple of games. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing him start against Fulham and then seeing him start against Liverpool at the weekend. Give him 2 games in a week and really see what he can deliver.
When you're talking about impact as well, there's a little thing that it will affect it. Cavani can't speak English. So he's getting Matic translating for him. Zlatan came in, being able to speak English, so he's able to have that swagger and bravado, and everyone understands what he's saying, and he's able to lead the team because he's already got that. Like, I'm not saying Cavani hasn't made an impact, but even little things like him not speaking English, it makes his impacts less impactful because he's probably shouting at Martial to make a run, and he's probably looking at him like,
Do you know what,
Exactly.
KJ?
So was that Martial looked like
Most
that, everybody.
of Cavani's goals this season, mark my words, will be clutch goals. You know, when you need a goal out of nowhere.
Yeah. We saw it against Southampton. We saw it
There'll be
against
important goals. Yeah.
Everton in the cup as well.
That's what I'm
Cavani has worked out so much better than I thought he would at the start of the season when we signed him. I genuinely thought he'd probably be out injured for 6 weeks by now. But he hasn't because we've been managing well and he's been keeping himself fit. And credit to Cavani.
But that's also probably maybe part of it as well. You know, I think there's two things about both of them. We didn't rush him. We've allowed him to get back after not playing football for such a long time. You can sometimes rush players back in. They can get big injuries. Same with Greenwood. I remember listening to a sports, either a scientist or it was a sports doctor or someone along those lines who specialized in sport anyway, in sort of medical profession, was talking about players like the Theo Wilcotts and the Michael Owens, and they named a few others. And they basically said that sometimes they described it with scientific phrases, but I'll just use layman terms. Some young players at 16, 17 are built like men. Wayne Rooney is always the standout example. Haaland is another. They're built like men. They can handle it.
Yeah.
Even Cesc Fabregas, to an extent, was for a guy his age, was fairly well built. Michael Owen, very slight. Theo Wilcott, nothing of him. Greenwood, when he came through, again, a very slight, small man who had to be built up. Even Rashford. Sometimes these players can be overplayed at a young age. And the way she described it on the podcast is that it can do long-term damage to the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments that you don't always see instantly, but they can get to 23, 24, 25 and then start getting major injuries because they've weakened those areas because as they're growing and developing, they're being overused. It's a bit like you don't see 12-year-olds in the gym lifting weights because it's not good to do it to your body at that age. Some people's bodies don't mature at the right time. So I also think what we're doing with Greenwood, there's a longer-term plan to this where you don't want to overuse and burn out, especially with him not being ready. If he was another Stone Evia of muscle and grit and he had all the same skill and technique, then fine. But I don't think his body's fully developed yet and you don't want to overplay. And you just got to give these young time.
And that's why I believe bringing in Haaland, that just basically writes off Greenwood because what's the point? Like,
he'd write off most strikers.
Haaland is different.
Haaland's different class. Like, it's just different class.
I hear that. Listen, everyone who's tuned in today, thank you. We're live again after Arsenal versus Newcastle later. Kendall,
I forgot.
Miguel will be here. Adam Charles will be here. I'm sure the regular panelists as well. We're going to start opening the phone lines up a little bit more on the post-match reaction shows as well. Congratulations, by the way, to Philip Neville, who's been announced as the Inter Miami manager.
Let's go.
Nothing like a little bit of nepotism. David Beckham giving him a job. But you know what? He's done quite good with the ladies. The England ladies seem to be fair. But big game tonight for Arsenal. Score predictions, peeps. Who are you going with, KJ, tonight? Newcastle or Arsenal?
Oh man, Brucey Ball or
he's going with Joe Linton. That's who he's going with.
It's gonna. You know what? Yeah, complete hope and dream. I want to draw. It'll be hilarious. I don't think Brucey Ball is that good, so he ain't gonna get it. But yeah, I think it's Arsenal at home.
Yeah, they're right.
I mean, home and away again doesn't matter.
Oh
yeah, Arsenal at home. So I would love a draw. Probably Arsenal win, but I'm gonna say 0-0.
How about yourself, David? What prediction?
I'm going 1-0 Newcastle. Callum Wilson, that's the boy. Callum Wilson, let's go.
You know what? This Jem, go.
1-1, straight up.
Trab?
Yeah, 1-1.
1-1. And Monster, prediction for tonight's game?
I need a draw. 1-1, please.
Need a draw. Do you know what? Look, Arsenal have to win because their next 6-7 games after this,
they are screwed.
Wow,
it's definitely. I've seen it.
If they win tonight, it's something. If they lose tonight, it's just that. I actually don't think any Arsenal fan is going to look forward to football for about six weeks after tonight's game, especially if they lose.
Oh my!
It could be a relegation again.
What?
I just saw it. I just saw the list.
No, it could be a relegation, David. I know. It could be relegation Arsenal again.
And they've lost their good luck charm. Man like Troops is back in NYC. And they haven't won a game of football since he's been working out in America. He came back today, and they've won all their games when he was in England. He flew back, and they stopped winning again. This man's taken. He's got some judge there, bruv. Some judge in the house.
He's going to be lit tonight, mate.
Listen, Arsenal Fan TV is going to be, if you could buy shares in it, I would invest now for this next 5 to 6 weeks because it's going to be on fire. Make sure you're live. You come to the football terrace first and you watch AFTV later. We're live straight after the game. Until then, take care of yourselves. Big up to Manscaped. Make sure you go into the link in the description below and use the promo code TFT to get your 20% discount. They do great work for men and the families of people suffering with testicular cancer. So go and check that out. Massive, massive calls. Make sure you're checking your balls. Until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you